Okay, so you guys should have started what I did on Thanksgiving Day, your true story about what you did yesterday. So today, what we are going to talk about is actually how to write some sentences. So we have talked a lot about labels, making sure that our pictures have labels. But today we're going to talk about putting some sentences on the lines. So you hopefully have something, and you might not put a sentence on your first page. I'm going to do it on my first page. So get my pencils out here. And I'm going to do it so that in a color you can see it. And hopefully you have a lot of choices of your colored pencils. You know, you're always writing in colored pencils. So first, before we can even get started, we need to look at some things that writers do to make sure that their writing is easy to read, right? So let's look at what that is. After I get my stuff on my fingers so I can turn the pages. So first of all, to make sure that their writing is easy to read, let's look. Since you are all writers, they have to use finger space. And for you, your fingers are really small, so 2 fingers work really good. If you squish all of your letters together, that does not work. That's why we put an X. We can't tell where your words are. This says, I walked down the road. When you put spaces, then we can count how many words are in your sentence. We have to write and draw neatly. When you scribble, then we cannot understand your story. And I want to know about what you did on Thanksgiving Day. You're not going to be there to tell me, right? We have to draw pictures that help us tell the story, right? This picture, we can see that's a person. They even labeled it me, a sun, a slide. They labeled it and we can clearly tell what that is. This, when we're writing over top of it, right? I wouldn't know that that's really a slide. That picture does not help us tell the story. We have to listen for the sounds and then write them. We write the sounds that we hear, right? If we hear a sound, we write it. If we hear k, k, we write the letter that makes that sound. I told you I'm working on getting you guys a chart like I was showing you yesterday in one of the videos. Help you guys do that. Ooh, so this is tricky. We started talking about this a little bit. We're only going to use a capital letter at the very beginning of the sentence. See this? We don't use capitals anywhere else. Do you see here? They used capitals on the whole. Every single letter is a capital. That is not how we're going to make it easy for people to read. And they used lower cases the whole time. We're going to use a capital at the very front. That's it. All the rest lowercase. And at the end, we're going to put punctuation. We're going to put something, probably a period. I know sometimes when we're reading, we say exclamation points or we ask a question. I don't want you to ask me a question about your Thanksgiving Day. I want you to tell me about it, right? Here it says, I went to the movies with a period. It was fun with another period. They're telling us something, we put a period at the end. Capital at the front, period at the end. Why don't you guys try saying it with me? Capital at the front, period at the end. Capital at the front, period at the end. So that is what good writers make sure their writing is easy to read. That's what writers do. Okay? So now, when we are writing sentences, we have to move past just making our labels at the top. So for me, on Thanksgiving Day, sure you already know what that is. And then you know who's back here. One little mister who's getting some longer hair, and one girl with curly hair. So there should be smiles. And of course, you know, we don't want my van floating. What was it like on Thanksgiving Day? Maybe like partly sunny? Partly sunny, I think maybe. And on the way, I think probably there was like some fields. It's like grass back there. So that's a little bit messy, isn't it? Once you're drawing, and yes, I can add some labels, and I can say that was Donovan, and that is Dylan, and this is me, and I might label this a van, right, and a tree, but we want to get a sentence here, right? So when we write a sentence, you have to get it in your head, and then we're going to write it. You know how we do at the green table? When you're writing a sentence, and I say, repeat the sentence over and over and over in your head, that's what you're gonna do. So I'm gonna think about what I wanna say, and on this page, I'm going to write, I went in the car. That's what I'm going to write. And that's a sentence just like we would write at the green table. And so I went in the car. And you, if you want, you know how at the green table we always write lines? You might even do that in your writing to help you, okay? You might even do lines for yourself. Like, I went in the car, period. Remember, we were just talking about that punctuation. I went in the car. Remember how we use our finger and we touch the lines when I say the words. Over and over and over, you're gonna say your sentence that you wanna write. I went in the car. I went in the car. Now I'm going to write I, capital, because it's the beginning, and because it's an no, I'm not gonna write the next word. I'm gonna say the sentence again. I went in the car. I went, went. So now I'm gonna write all the sounds that I hear. Went, went, in, snap word, I should know it right away. It's a brand new snap word, brand new, so it's fresh in my mind, right? I went in. Now, good writers read what they wrote, right? We have to reread. I went in. You have to do the same thing to your writing. Read it over and over and over. I went in the car. The car. The. How do I spell the? It's another sight word. What is it? T-H-E. The. I went in the car. I'm sure you were all saying it for me. But as I'm saying car, I'm thinking it's my writing, and I'm going to change it to van. I went in the van. Because I'm looking at my picture, and I was looking here, and I was thinking, why did I say I wanted to write car? So I'm going to write van. V. Ooh, we just did that today too. Remember here? V. An. 2 letters make up an. Know what they are? Those 2 letters. Now I'm going to reread it. I went in the van. And I have a full sentence. And if you noticed, when I was drawing the lines, I made sure that I put good spaces. I went in the van. First thing I did. That's the beginning of my story. If you already feel like you have good words and you want to work on your sentence on a different page, you can do that. But I hadn't started my story yesterday like you guys did. So I wanted to start that with you all today. So today, no matter what part of your story you're working on, because I'm sure you're not finished, and you're going to be adding on to either this part or this part, whatever page, I want you to work on at least 1 sentence on one of your pages. That needs to happen today, okay? Your story should not be done today, especially now that you learned about writing a sentence in there. It usually takes us a long time to write 1 sentence. So if you write sentences on a couple pages, it should take you a while. Don't forget to have your adults set your timer for 15 minutes. And happy writing!